Howdy there. What? Pistol only zone? What? Less than 300 feet per second? What's in the sock? Welcome to another episode of Airgotten Weapons. Today I'd like to show you what's in the sock. What's in the case? Pistol only zone, you say, huh? Well, that's where this little baby comes in handy. 2 magazines. Dun, 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 dun. It's my KSC with a metal body M11 gas blowback, open bolt. So I'm going to take you a little bit through it and show you some of the different features and trials and tribulations that you're probably going to run into if you run one of these for any length of time. So this is the metal body conversion. It's almost as expensive as the gun. Is it worth it? No. And why? Because it makes it heavier and it doesn't fit very well. You have to end up trimming some stuff inside, and I use a 130% spring on the bolt to make it a higher rate of fire. So it's not really worth the effort. You'd probably have more fun with 2 of them rather than 1 with the metal body. But that's just my experience. Yours may vary. So what's in the sock, you might ask? Well, it's the official and often reproduced Neocoba suppressor for it, which are super hard to get here in the States. Not sure if you can see it's kind of a holographic speckly label. They're super hard to get here in the States because of the ATF, and that's a whole nother issue. There's a lot of videos out there about it, but I will just tell you that the ATF has no sense of humor when it comes to messing around with this stuff. So don't play around. If it's airsoft, leave it airsoft. Keep it away from anything that might be potentially construed as not being airsoft. Because even if somebody else sees it, walking by your window or what, it really doesn't matter nowadays. People are so reactionary. They won't sit and listen to you that it shoots a little plastic BB. They don't care. They only see this and they go, holy crap, this guy's, Chuck Norris and he's going to kill the entire neighborhood. Even though that's usually very far from the truth. So there it is. I don't have the stock on it. I find that it's useless. Really useless. So there you have it assembled. Like I said, it's a gas blowback. Green gas primarily. I suppose you could use red gas, although I haven't seen red gas for sale for a long time. Propane adapters, not quite sure, but I can assure you one thing: the KSC and the TF11, which is the Umarex crappy clamshell ones that you see available, they are not the same, and the magazines are not interchangeable. It would seem like it would be such a great thing if you could get the TF11, these with the CO2 conversion, to fit in here, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. And even if you could make it physically fit, the amount of work that it would require to the bolt and the knocker would be considerable. I mean, you can see you've got a lot of differences there. Too many to overcome, I believe. I mean, I guess if you had enough time, anything's possible, but it seemed to me to not be worth the effort, because these mags are bad. They're not great mags. They leak terribly after a little while. They don't feed very well unless they're brand new, and they're about 50 bucks a piece. So this is not a poor man's gun to run, because you've got a lot of money tied up in magazines, gas, the gun itself. The accessories are expensive and they're hard to get. But I will say, when this thing is running good, it is a ton of fun. It is a lot of rounds per second. not many feet per second, but a lot of rounds per second. And if you've seen my other videos, you can tell that that's kind of more my style anyway. I'm more of a bullet hose person than somebody that wants to shoot 900 feet per second. But that's just me. That's my playing style. And you guys play your way and I play my way, but I have a lot of fun. And I'm sure you do too. So, not really a whole lot more to say. I do have all the plastic pieces to put back on if I wanted to, but I mean, it just looks, that's just an evil looking airsoft gun if I've ever seen one. And I did have a really early M10, the larger version, with the suppressor. It was a Marutzen, and it was cool. It was HPA, but, well, not HPA, but the previous equivalent of that. And it was a collectible, so I sold it before I broke it. And that is the story of that gun. Anyway, so this gun I still use on occasion. Like I said, I've got magazine troubles, and I just don't. I'd rather put the $100 into something else than to buy 2 more magazines. So it just kind of sits as a novelty in its little case, as many airsoft in my collection do, because, I mean, how many can you use? You got one for each hand, that's about max, right? So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And for today's extra content, we have a uniform. I got a bunch of these, and these will be fun to show you guys. But this one is kind of a conundrum to me personally, because I don't know much about naval stuff, especially uniforms. I have a couple, and maybe those will be something you guys can help me out on. But this one is an MSTS, which I believe is Marine Supply Transportation Service or Transport Service. Anyway, it was in service after World War II up until the 50s, and it was renamed. And then I believe that force ran for a long time until the 2000s. But it's got this cool patch in it. This is another one of my thrift store finds. I think this one was $3 or $4. But that's all easy enough to discern. But it has this very strange, sleeve device here. And, most other, even German stuff, usually these lightning bolts mean some kind of communications. But I couldn't find it anywhere. It's got it on both sleeves, which I guess isn't unusual. And it's got some kind of wear to the sleeves. So it's, an honest use. Probably wasn't super well cared for, but it doesn't have any holes or anything in it. It's kind of a neat piece of history. Kind of unusual. I had never seen one before. I saw the buttons and I was like, well, those buttons themselves are kind of interesting. And then I saw the label inside and I said, well, for a couple dollars. I had to throw it in the collection. Maybe somebody at some point can tell me something more about it. Especially the weird sleeve device. That's a new one for me. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.